Hey, Kim here. Shelf help is a slippery slope. I have been known to go down that slope. I have often described myself as a self help junkie and that this is one of my superpowers. So, I have read self help books since before I started my career in mental health. And I really believe that that's partly how I got into this work. And yes, I have read a lot. Some I have taken action on, and others not so much. So, what happens when self help becomes shelf help? Right? Books can be very comforting. They kind of feel like old friends. Like if you have read a book you loved, you might think, I want to read this I'm going to read this again someday. And maybe you will, maybe you won't. I have read books that I have read years ago that I wanted to read again, and I did read a couple of those again. Anyway, if you have like a lot of self-help books that you've never read, it can still feel good to have them on your shelf. It shows that you are a well-read person. It can show your personality or even your identity. This is who I am. But is it really? It can be the same if you have bought any online courses that you started and then you lost interest, right? And it can feel bad too, because you know that you spent money on them and then you didn't finish. And it can be the same with books, of course. So let's see, where are we? Okay. Our books can really hold the promise of something better. Once I read this book on how to declutter my life, I will have it all together. If only it was that easy, right? So let's think about some of the books you have now. Are they toppling over because there isn't enough room on your bookshelf? Or do you have them in many different places in your home? So it really can be good to have all your books together in one place, if possible. But if not, even two places is good too, But just to have all your books together, because then you can see what you have and what you might want to read. So some people talk to me about textbooks and or books they have from work they did in the past. And again, they are books that remind us of who we are or who we were. So they can be really hard to let go of. I guess the question to ask yourself is, have I opened any of these books in the last year or maybe the last few years? And then make your decision. This really reminds me of some yearbooks I have, and I am wondering whether, maybe my sister would like to look at them, or although she's like 7 years younger than me, or maybe even my son might be interested. I don't know. But anyway, something to think about. They haven't been looked at in years, so, it could be time. Anyway, letting go of books, though, can be tough, obviously, in general. And the way I have done it in the past is I would go through most of my books, well, maybe not all of them, but some of them. I would go through them and take out a few that I knew that I wouldn't read. And then those ones I could feel good about donating. But I also would come across books that I thought, this looks like a really good book. Why haven't I read this? Or maybe I want to read this again, that kind of thing. So what I would do is bring those books upstairs and put them at my bedside table, and then just try them before bed and see how it goes. And really, if I couldn't really get into them, I would take them on my walk and drop them off at one of the little libraries in my neighborhood. So that's kind of how I handled that. Anyways, a general question to ask yourself, though, is, do I want to spend my time reading this and doing the exercises that might be involved, especially when it comes to the self-help type books? So sending off books to a good cause as well can also help with the letting go process. I personally have started to read more fiction than self-help, and I am loving that. It's been very relaxing. I read before bed. Sometimes on my Kindle is what, if I'm reading on there, it really just puts me right to sleep, and I just love it. So let me know if you can relate to a love of books like me. And what has been your favorite book of all time? So check the links in my profile. If you would like to connect with me, I have a free ebook called Get Motivated to Declutter. And especially if you have been thinking about getting started, but you've been having a hard time. So thanks for watching, and happy decluttering.